The truth is that Nigerian government have tried every means possible to make sure that they remove Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you know, and all that. But you see, the guy is just too strong, you get. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, no matter when we say, he don't still tire Nigerian government. Every effort they have made to make sure that they bringing him down is not working for them. Anyway, guys, let me not just talk too much. Let me drop this news. I will drop this video, make all of us, watch her. I will be right back.
One thing that a lot of people do not understand is that if Nnamdi Kanu needed to be free by all means, he could have been free since. Nnamdi Kanu can even free himself without anybody talking, and that is if he decides to abandon the struggle that led him into the detention. That is the struggle for the actualization of independent state of Biafra. And recently now, that was yesterday, being the 6th day of March 2025, Nnamdi Kanu files 2 suits against violation of his right, demands transfer of case to Southeast, speedy trial, 100 billion damages. We are going to explain all these things one after the other. But before that, it is important to understand that before the last court case they went, where they adjourned the case indefinitely, Aloy Jimako told us that Nnamdi Kanu was preparing to file a suit that we enabled them to transfer the case to the Southeast. Time with that number, a lot of people spoke about this issue of Nnamdi Kanu, and we all understand that this man don't have that serious case before the Nigerian court, just because of some circumstances surrounding him. He is so influential. Nnamdi Kanu, his influence is too much, so it scares politicians. And every politician, especially from the Southeast, if there are few people who are not against him, there are not more than 10 people, 10 politicians who are not against him. So a lot of people actually don't really want him to be free because of so many issues. But there is a very great advantage if Nnamdi Kanu will be set free. If Nnamdi Kanu is free, all these serious killings, raping, kidnapping in the farms, all those things, it will stop automatic. It will stop. The governors from the Southeast and other people, they don't have what it takes to solve this. That is what we must know. Now, it reads that breaking, Nnamdi Kanu files 2 suits against violation of his rights, demands transfer of case to Southeast, speedy trial, 100 billion damages. Now, the details reads that the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has filed 2 separate lawsuits challenging alleged violation of his constitutional right, including the right to a fair hearing, fair trial, and speedy trial. Kanu, who filed the suit through his legal team by his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Jimako, urged the court and the Nigerian government to adhere to the constitutional provision and relevant status in handling his case out of the article. Now, when it comes to the issue of speedy trial, we all know that Nigerian government, they are reluctant. Do you people realize that Nnamdi Kanu's case started after he was arrested and released 2014, 2015? No, that was 2015, yeah. 2015 through 2016. So everything started almost 10 years ago. They started trying this man almost 10 years ago, and up till now, they have not found anything criminating against him. They have not found him guilty. They are still playing one game or the other, prolonging the whole detention. Now, the article continues that in the first suit, filed under suit number CV 87525, Kanu seeks an unconditional release from detention and the ongoing trial in charge number FHC ABGCRO 383/2015. His lawyer argued that the IPOB leaders trial violates section 36(1) and 4 of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantee the right to a fair hearing and speedy trial. In the suit, Kanu demand a formal apology from the Nigerian government for the alleged violation of his fundamental rights to be published in 3 widely circulated national newspapers. He also demanded compensation of 100 billion for alleged physical, mental, and emotional trauma caused by the prolonged detention and legal proceeding. In a second suit numbered M3224/2025, Kanu seeks a writ of mandamus compelling the Nigerian authorities to follow due legal process in his trial. Now, let me stop here first out of the article. A lot of people that would see this report or this news, they will say, what is Nnamdi Kanu thinking to compel Nigerian government to apologize to him? You can think like that because you have been brainwashed, you have been psycho-conditioned, not knowing what is your right. You have been striped out the right of a citizen. A lot of Nigerians don't even know what it means to be a citizen because they have never tested one. You may call yourself a citizen, but have you tested what it means to be a citizen? Do you know what it means to enjoy your fundamental human right, including right to treatment in the hospital, right to go to school, right for your protection? You don't know because your people are dying like chickens. So you think that you were born and brought up from a war front, that is the way a country is, but it's unfortunate. Now, the suit, the article continues, specifically demanded the transfer of his case to the Southeast, arguing that it should have been filed there initially. And that is correct. If the issue emanated from the Southeast, if the case, everything is from the Southeast, why are they trying him in Abuja? By the way, the Federal High Court has the same jurisdiction all over the country. So what is the case still doing in Abuja? So I think Nnamdi Kanu is on the right path, demanding for the transfer of case to the Southeast. And I think that is going to be a game changer. Just that Nigerian authorities don't obey the rule of law. They don't obey the court orders. Because a lot of courts from the Southeast, they have ruled that IPOB is not a terrorist organization. They have ruled that federal government should pay Nnamdi Kanu, some millions of naira, 1 billion, something like that. So have they obeyed any of this? No, they keep on adjourning, keep on delaying, and so on and so forth. Kanu contended that the lawsuit were necessary due to repeated constitutional breaches following the recusal of Justice Binta Motola-Nyako on September 24, 2024. His legal team highlighted concerns including failure to reassign the case to another judge, reversing the recusal decision, returning the case to the same judge. Refusal to consider moving the case to the Southeast, delays in bringing the case to trial, keeping Kanu in detention for nearly 4 years without resolution. The legal team insisted that these actions amount to a miscarriage of justice, undermining Kanu's legal rights and prolonging his incarceration without a fair trial. In a statement issued on Thursday, Ejimako emphasized that his client cannot fold his hands while this injustice persists. Ejimako said in a first suit number CV875/25, filed before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, we requested for the enforcement of Nnamdi Kanu's constitutional right to fair hearing and to be tried within a reasonable time, and in the alternative, to release him unconditionally. In the second suit number M3224/2025, which was also brought before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, we are seeking for a mandamus to compel the authorities of the following or to follow the law in the conduct of his trial, including the transfer of his case to the Southeast, where it should have been instituted in the first place. We wish to make it abundantly clear that these suits were primarily necessitated by the several unconstitutional and unlawful actions that have pervaded the conduct of the Nnamdi Kanu's case since the recusal of the Honorable Justice Binta Motola-Nyako on the 24th of September 2024. The said unconstitutional and unlawful actions include the refusal to reassign cases to another judge, the backward reassignment of the case to the same judge who recused herself from the case, the refusal to consider transfer of the case to the Southeast, and most importantly, the failure of the authorities to bring the case to the proper trial within a reasonable time as the Constitution demands. To be clear, second to the last paragraph of the article, to be clear, these actions by the authorities constitute a grave miscarriage of justice that have altogether become highly injurious to Nnamdi Kanu's legal interests, including particularly the grave injustice of keeping him in detention for almost 4 years without any prospect of a fair trial. As a human being imbued with certain inalienable rights, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu cannot fold his hands whilst this injustice persists. So this is the end of the article. Now, the report coming is that Nnamdi Kanu, again, after they adjourned his case indefinitely, he was also, told to agree to drop the struggle of, agitating for Biafra. That when he do that, then they will release him unconditionally, so he can go and play politics, to just live like normal people who doesn't know their right, who doesn't know their left from their right. So when you do that, yes, everything will just go well. We will, work with you. But you continuing with your Biafra agitation, meaning we are not going to release you. You follow the due process of the court. That is what they normally say. Follow the due process of the court, which they know that the process is not a due process. It's an altered process, complicated process. In that process, they knew what they are doing. They knew what they are, all their plans, they know. They have the knife, they have the yam, they know where to cut it. You see, when you are fighting an animal in his territory, it's always difficult because they have the power, they have everything, they know what to do, they know where to hit you, okay? They know where to hit you. But the most important thing is that nothing lasts forever. So Nnamdi Kanu is not going to be there forever. And it's the most important thing we have to understand now is that come rain, come sun, Kanu will be released this year, okay? Do not exceed this year. But let's see the response of, the transfer of his case to the Southeast. I believe it's going to be a game changer. So the legal thing should continue to push. We know he's going to be free. We don't know how it will happen, but we know it's going to happen. Let me know what you think on the comment section. Thank you.
You know how they brazenly talk about election in this country? There was a time the Oba of Lagos said if people don't vote for Igbos who don't vote for them will be driven into the lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos state government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they are holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's
for
perpetual
Biafra.
detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. And everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political because it may not. Whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. So, and they didn't forgive them since then. So everything has been done after that. We know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victors to...
You are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, in an interview he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. That is a perpetual, narration to keep the Igbos where they are.
Yeah, so no, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interest, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting an
It's
Igbo
easier
man.
for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessmen. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulate people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. It's easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course, that's the truth. You know, that's why you were saying, oh, you are Yoruba man. You know, if based on what I say, they even tell me I'm not Yoruba enough. You know, but I'm of mixed heritage. There's a part of me that is Ijo.
Okay.
And we are the Ijo speaking Yorubas. We're the Yoruba speaking Ijos in Ondo State.
Okay.
So they call us Ijo Apoy.
Ilaje area.
No, it's Ilaje. So we're next to Ilaje.
Okay.
But my great grandparents came from Yoruba side of things. But the stream that Shore is named after is in Ijebu waterside. Because that's how they came. So, but you know, I don't speak to people based on ethnicity. I don't define myself based on my ethnic heritage, even though I do not deny it. But because it underlies our humanity to be assigned an ethnic position before you can be respected. Are you getting my point? Or before your views can carry, oh, so you have to be a Yoruba man. And then it was, oh.
So we've had
Here
Rwanda.
Comes one of them.
We've had Rwanda manage the same ethnic issue in their country with the Tutsi thing after years of genocide.
Are you sure they managed it?
Well, to a reasonable
they have to
extent.
manage it through genocide. And Nigeria
after genocide management.
So this is what you should understand.
Okay.
Nigeria also managed the Igbo problem through genocide. 4 million Igbos.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Is that not genocide? But you know the problem I have sometimes even with some of our people is that the same people who shot and killed them are more popular in their midst than those who support their rights. The Obasanjos of this world are embraced as authentic people, but these are the people who went and used third commando to massacre Igbos. What did they name this airport after? Murtala Mohammed, one of the most notorious killers of Igbos. Buhari, they kill Igbos. Danjuma, they kill Igbos. Gowon, they kill Igbos. But they even love them more than they love those of us who are fighting. People challenge me that, they hate me because I support Nnamdi Kanu. And I said, so be it. Because I know that I'm supporting justice. And I cannot support injustice because I want political favors from a country. If you want to keep carrying out genocide of political nature or continuation of it, you can go ahead. Keep voting for the criminals who are perpetrating it. Let the forest be voting for the axe because the handle is from one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I said something. I would like you to touch more on it. I mean, the Igbos were the victims. Now they are forgiving the victors. There is no place you don't find the footprints of Igbos across the length and breadth of this country.
That's why I say you are preaching to the choir. Igbos are not only in Nigeria, they're all over the world. I went to Alabama in the US, and the only pharmacist there is an Igbo man. Selma, Alabama. You've heard about Selma.
Yeah.
It's one of the homes of the civil rights movement, where they cross that Petra Bridge.
Exactly.
Igbo man is there. Most likely that's what you find in every community in the US. Igbos are distributed all over the world. There's this urban legend that if Igbos cannot live in a place, the place is not livable. There was a time, a New York Times reporter came to Gamboru Ngala after Boko Haram sacked the place. The only person they found there who was not a Boko Haram member was an Igbo pharmacist. So what are you doing here? I said, well, somebody has to treat them. He was that courageous enough to stay there. So I'm saying all these things so that you can understand that I understand probably more consciously better than most people do And that informed the reason I can speak categorically about the victimization of Igbo. Otherwise, it is a taboo. Politically, it is incorrect to say that Igbos are victimized by an average Nigerian.
Okay. All right. Yes. So let's move
because nobody wants to hear the truth, And when you say, if somebody is watching me and I get out of this, Sure, what's your problem now? Leave these Igbo people alone. You understand? That is the truth. But I cannot. My conscience cannot allow me to accommodate the genocide of 3 million people, 4 million people, and then the continuation of that denunciation of the existence through persecution, in which the Nigerian state is carrying out, either through landmark or Nnamdi Kanu, or look. I told a story. I think it was on a honest punch that in this country, there was a time they were beheading Igbos, putting their heads in calabash and putting on the trains going east.
Do you think that's what's happening in the east right now? Speaking about militarization of the east.
Pogrom. You understand? And that's why they're doing it. It's what they're doing. When we did August, what did we ask for? Demilitarization of the east and release of Nnamdi Kanu was one of our demands. But it was the most denounced demands, even by human rights people. They told us, no, don't include Kanu in your demands. Otherwise, we will not join you. Because Nigeria has been made to believe that a crime committed against Igbo doesn't fall under human rights abuse.
Okay. So let's speak about that crime against Igbo, because a popular, I think I read in your paper recently.
And unfortunately also, the Ohanese people said they should not join the protests, that they are negotiating with Tinubu. They even said that he will release him for Christmas gift, as if he's a Christmas goat.
All right, so speaking about this militarization of the Southeast, recently I read in your platform, a popular media mogul, owner of a media platform in Lagos State, was dehumanized in the Southeast. He was traveling through Anambra State to Asaba Airport, and he was accosted. He and about 3 DSS officials were accosted by military personnel who
dehumanized
them, told them to lie on the floor. In fact, told them they were going to shoot at them, told them that they were IPOB. Do you think there has been accusations that most of the people killed in the Southeast in the guise of IPOB are really not IPOB, that they were killed by military? Do you think that this is exactly what's happening?
These guys are burning down villages, Nigerian army. They are burning down villages. Like, if you are 17 years old in the East, you carry any kind of hairstyle and you run into a military checkpoint, you're automatically targeted. It's profiling.
Oh, wow.
You understand? But go to Katsina. Listen to this before we end this broadcast. The governor in Katsina said a whole local government with tons of bandits have only 5 policemen in their area. They have only 1 vehicle, no military. But there are bandits all over the place. Why is it that banditry and terrorism in the north is treated with kid gloves, and people who are asking for what is recognized by the United Nations as self-governance, the request for self-governance, is treated as a crime against the state? But terrorism is not treated the same way in the East. I traveled in the northern part of Nigeria during the election in 2019 and also in 2023. You can drive all the way from some of the most, bandits' havens.
Dangerous points.
Dangerous points. And there will be no policeman or army on the way.
Okay.
But you cannot travel in the East today. Is 1 kilometer, 1 military battalion.
Unfortunately, that is what it is. Before we leave, can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead.
We have spoken a lot here, and you are more like a repetition of speaking truth to power. Oh, sure, already you fear for your life?
It's too late. My life had been taken several times, to the point that all I'm dedicated to is living my life one day at a time. And the reason is this. When I was leaving the university, I did not know, I left the university at the age of 24, 25. I did not know that I would make it up to 30. So I used to say at that time that I was living on borrowed times. I'm 54 now. If I die today and an autopsy is performed on me, they will find the heart of a 90-year-old man inside my body because it's been a lot. My heart has carried a lot of pain and anguish. But I've carried on, and as a result, I cannot be afraid of my shadows when people who didn't even do half of what I've done have died of preventable diseases, some malaria. So people like me are lucky. And if you look at the life expectancy of a Nigerian man, I think it's now
50 something, 56,
54.
56.
So I've lived a few months above that. I'm going to be 55 in February. I've tried.
You're not going anywhere yet. But before you go, before you start going where you want to go to, let's look at 2027. There's been lots of chess playing here and there against 2027, and then coalition of some people are already saying that there is no way anybody can beat Ebola Ahmed Tinubu in any election, irrespective of his performance.
No,
if they don't come together. What do you think is the way forward?
You can beat Tinubu in an election, but you cannot beat him in his election, and that's what they are planning. They're not going to have another election.
Are you serious?
Yes. They're not
How
planning.
do you mean?
Well, let's start from here. Who conducts the election? INEC. Right? Go and find out how many federal electoral commissioners were appointed by Tinubu who are APC card-carrying members to replace the ones that are retired. Almost infinite. Did you know that Bola Tinubu appointed 11 Supreme Court justices since he came to power? These two bodies.
So there is no hope in Nigeria will continue like this?
Well, if you don't want to continue like this, make it very clear that we can't continue like this. And that has to happen now. But if you don't, you are going to continue worse than this in the next few months and years to come. Because they have already decided the next selection.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, but they may not. The only thing that I'm hopeful about is that they may not be as lucky as they did last time. Because I think people are tired too.
Do you think they really are tired?
Well, they're tired, but the question is, do they have the energy to push back? That's the question. But in terms of tiredness, you can see it's written all over the horizon. Nigerians are tired.
Why do you think they lack the energy to push back if they're really tired?
You see, Nigerians have, and I'm going to say something that will be controversial. Nigerians have a gene in their DNA called the happiness gene. It's called the happiness gene. And they are happy regardless of what they go through, what I call foolish happiness.
Well, naturally, but there's nothing wrong with being happy.
Yes, but how can you be happy when you should be sad? If you don't allow those emotions to run, side by side, then you cannot be upset enough to change your objective conditions. That's where we are. And it's a bad place to be. There are times to be happy, times to be sad, times to be angry. That's what humans are supposed to react to, depending on the circumstances they are faced with. So I think we've done enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okoro, you have a message I want to quickly, I don't know if we can.
I'm trying to fish it out.
Take that out. But if we can, that'll be it. Thank you so much.
I'm always available.
And you give me a handshake on there. That's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. At least we did not fight today, right? I'm hoping for more no fighting conversations from you.
I'm a fighter, so.
I see that is in you.
I would say, bring it on.
All right, thank you so much. And that's it.
Happy New Year to all your viewers.
Thank you.
No matter what.
Thank you.
It's difficult to be happy in a new year.
We'll try.
Even when you don't know what the year.
Exactly. We know what it's bringing. It doesn't look good.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. So what's your take on this? Do you think Nnamdi Kanu will ever get a fair trial? I beg, drop your comment below the comment section. Share this video, let it go viral. Thank you, and bye for now.
Biafra.